What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some battles submitted to the channel by ReinhartGerhart, who's running actual fossil Pokemon in the Fossil Cup. I know, pretty crazy, right? But anyways, this trainer is running two different teams, firstly with Cradily, Omastar and Kabutops, and the second team with Tyrunt, Aurorus and Bastiodon. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What is your favourite fossil Pokemon? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, we lead Cradily into Pelipper, so a pretty good lead matchup for us. The opponent is choosing to stay in this matchup. They can hit for neutral damage with the Weather Balls and also the Hurricane. They go straight for a Weather Ball, we go for one more Bullet Seed, going for the Rock Slide, and this will probably force the shield from the opponent. It does force the shield, and they will make it to another Weather Ball just before we make it to the next Rock Slide. So we're going to let the second one go through as well. We do tank that just about. We might be in range for them to farm down, so it's going to be very close here. We go for a second Rock Slide, grabbing the shield. They go for the farm down, but we make it to a third Rock Slide in time, and from this range, Rock Slide takes out the Pelipper, and we have just gained switch advantage plus a 2 shield advantage as they come in with a Swampert. Now this would typically not be so great, but we're up 2 shields, so we can just go straight for the Hydro Pump, and this is going to be a CMP tie. Hydro Pump from this range takes out the Swampert, and they've got a Berserker in the back, and the opponent just concedes the match. So into the next battle, we see an Alolan Sandslash in the lead, Purified, and they are actually running the Powder Snow variant here, so unfortunately that is super effective damage with their fast move. They go for an Ice Punch, we tank it on the chin, we go for a Rock Slide here, and we might try to catch the next charge move onto one of our back Pokemon, and we do exactly that, catching it onto the Omastar. This is going to be another Ice Punch. It is resisted by the Water typing, and we bait out a Quagsire. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot we can do to flip this matchup here, so they go for the Mud Bomb, and we just fully sacrifice the Omastar. We come in, we go for a very risky Rock Slide bait, but we grab the shield from the Quagsire, which is amazing. And now I can shield this up. We can go straight for a Grass Knot here. This will definitely take out the Quagsire if they let it go through, which they do, and now we're going to instantly swap into our Kabutops. The opponent comes back in with the Sandslash. We go for the Ancient Power from this range. This should be just about enough damage to take them out. We grab the final shield as they go for a charge move of their own. It is the Draw Run. We do correctly shield it up, and they swap into a Waterfall Kingdra. That's going to be a lot of fast move pressure from this Kingdra, but we go for the Ancient Power, and we get the boost. That's amazing for us because now we easily make it to the next Ancient Power. This will be taking out the Kingdra, and we should just about be able to outpace the Sandslash to the charge move here on the CMP tie. And Ancient Power takes out the Sandslash, and we take that game. So into the next battle, we see Cradily into Galarian Stunfisk. So bit of an awkward situation here. We swap into the Omastar, which is kind of interesting. We bait out an Azumarill, which is not great at all. Unfortunately, Ancient Powers, whilst it did get a damage boost recently, is still not going to do very much damage up against this Azumarill, but we can spam them very fast. They gave us a ton of energy before swapping out. They do finally make it to a charge move, and we are going to shield the play rough here because we will now be able to force shields up against the Azumarill. So we can go for another Ancient Power. This will still not be enough damage to take them out, but we do make it to a 4th Ancient Power before they make it to the next move, and we do finally grab the shield back from the opponent. We also put them into range where we can easily farm down with either Pokemon in the back. So let's see what we do. We come in with the Cradily, we go for the Bullet Seed farm down, and the opponent swaps into Toxapex. So we're going to go for a Rock Slide here, and then probably swap into our Kabutops, and that's exactly what we do. Because of the Rock typing here, we do resist the Poison Jab damage, although Cradily takes neutral damage because of the sub Grass typing. The opponent, for whatever reason, goes for a Gunk Shot, which is resisted, but it probably does slightly more damage than the Brine anyway, so maybe that is a smart play. I don't know, but we're going to go for back-to-back Ancient Powers here. Ancient Powers, like I said, not going to do too much damage, but if they go for the farm down, then we can make it to another Ancient Power. We undercharge it, it still takes out the Toxapex anyway. They come back in with a Azumarill, we actually farm them down with the Mud Shots, and they now come back in with the Galarian Stunfisk. We let the first move go through, it is the Earthquake, and now they probably only need to make it to a Rock Slide to take us out, but can we make it to back-to-back Grass Knots in time? We land the first one, a second one should be enough damage from this range to take them out, and unless they've got back-to-back moves or are one away, we will make it to the Grass Knot here, and this will be enough damage from this range to take out the Stunfisk, and we take that game. So into the next battle, we see Cradily into another Galarian Stunfisk. So hopefully this isn't the same battle. We're actually staying in this lead matchup this time around, so it must definitely be a different matchup. We're going to let the Rock Slide go through as they don't farm to the Earthquake here, and both moves are neutral. Earthquake is a lot better as a charge move there, as it is stab and it just generally hits a lot harder. We're now going to shield the next move. They could go for the Earthquake, but they bait with another Rock Slide, which is unfortunate, but we overfarm massively. We then go for a very risky Rock Slide bait. Rock Slide will not take them out, but we grab the shield, and then we swap. We catch the next move onto our Kabutops. They go for the Rock Slide here, and we are going to overfarm in this matchup. Obviously going for the Ancient Power would not take them out, so we're probably going to farm to the back-to-back, and at this point the Mudshot damage probably has just about put them into range where an Ancient Power will take them out. We grab the shield and we win the CMP tie with the next Ancient Power, and from this range Ancient Power does take them out. We get a boost as well, but it's probably not going to help us too much. Actually, it might have helped us as we make it to another Ancient Power, resisting the Frost Breath, and that does so much damage to the Lapras. We now come in with the Omastar. This is just going to be a Surf, I believe, so we can let it go through. Surf doesn't do too much damage. We're going to overfarm in this matchup. They try to catch the Ancient Power onto the Steelix, but they're unsuccessful, so we Hydro Pump the Steelix, one-shotting the Steelix, and we come back in with the Cradily. We go for a charge move, but the opponent concedes the match. Into the next game, not a very good lead for us, so we are going to safe swap into our Omastar, and the opponent is staying in initially before swapping into Pelipper, which I don't think is the greatest swap here, but we're going to go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power does connect, it does big damage, and we're going to let the first move go through. It is a Weather Ball, of course, and we're going to overfarm in this matchup, farming to the CMP tie, which Omastar does win, and Ancient Power grabs a shield from the opponent. So we're going to shield this up, and we will be able to outpace them to the next charge move as well, so we can either grab both shields or just take switch advantage from this point. So we go for the Ancient Power, taking out the Pelipper. They come back in with the Registeel, and we make it to the Hydro Pump in time. Are they going to respect the damage here from the Hydro Pump? Yes, they do, unfortunately, and they will get a massive lock-on farm down. So we come in with the Cradily, likely just to sponge the energy. Focus Blast, it will be super effective, but it still doesn't take us out. And now we come in with the Kabutops. We're going to have to shield this up. Either charge move will easily one-shot us. So we shield up the Focus Blast. The opponent is staying in here, allowing us to make it to the Water Pulse. Water Pulse, not a great move, but it should put them into Mudshot farm down range, but they actually swap into Galarian Stunfisk. So we make it to another Water Pulse. Water Pulse does big damage to the Stunfisk, and they do unfortunately make it to a charge move. So from this range, Earthquake easily takes out the Kabutops. We will just about make it to the Grass Knot in time, just before they make it to the Rock Side, and Grass Knot takes out the Stunfisk, and now it's a race with the Registeel, but they outpace us to the charge move, and Focus Blast will take out the Cradily, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next battle, this is really good to see in the lead, because a Razor Leaf user up against our backline is just an instant loss. But we're going to go for the Rock Side, grabbing a shield from the opponent. The opponent swaps into a Water Gun Caracosta here, so cool to see some water rock boys battling up against each other. Also both fossil Pokemon. We're going to go for the Ancient Power. Ancient Power grabs a shield from the opponent. We get the boost as well, and we make it to another Ancient Power. Is this now going to be enough damage to take them out? Yes, it is, and they actually come in with a Water Gun Lapras, allowing us to make it to another Ancient Power in time before they get the farm down. That does huge damage. The opponent should have just come in with Ludicolo and got like one Razor Leaf off to completely farm us down, but now we have a lot better play here as we come back in with the Cradily, going for the Rock Side, and Rock Side will be doing big damage to the Ludicolo. We barely make it to the final Rock Side to take out this Ludicolo, and that should be game over for the opponent, and the opponent recognizing that, so they concede the match. Into the next battle, we see Politoed in the lead, so a pretty good lead matchup for us. They are running Bubble, so slightly slower to get to the charge moves, and we're going to go for a Rock Slide bait. And Rock Slide does go unshielded, so good call by the opponent. Perhaps we should have just gone for the Grass Knot there, as it doesn't really help us going for the baits, as for the next charge move anyways, it still takes us one more Bullet Seed to get there. As you see, we only made it to the Rock Slide, but they are now in range where a Rock Slide will be enough damage to take them out. But we are having to expend shields to maintain this matchup. So they go for a Weather Ball, and they've got us very low. We're now going to undercharge the Rock Slide here. and the opponent lets it go through, so now we get one extra bullet seed for free, and I do like that play. But we're going to swap now into the Omastar. The opponent is just going for a rock side, so we can tank this quite easily here. And we're going to overfarm. The opponent tries to catch a Hydro Pump, but the counts are off, and now we can go for the Ancient Power. And once again, a loaded Omanyte is going to be able to easily take this game up against the Pelipper here. So the opponent uses their shield, and we are probably going to let the Omastar go down at this point. Yep, going to let it go through. Weather Ball does take out the Omastar. We come in with the Kabutops straight away, and we are going to overfarm in this matchup. We're going to let this move go through as well, because this isn't going to do as much damage as an Earthquake. And now we farm to the CMP tie, winning the CMP tie with the Kabutops. Ancient Power takes out the Pelipper, and we get the boost again. And now this boosted Water Pulse, even though it's an awful move, will nearly one-shot the Galarian Stunfisk. We get the Mud Shot through, and we can safely shield this up. Even if they've got back-to-back moves, doesn't matter, as the Mud Shot takes them out, and we take that game. Into the next game, we see Quagsire in the lead, so great to see it in the lead matchup here, and the opponent's going to go for a Mud Bomb pretty much straight away, so we let it go through. We're going to go for one more Bullet Seed, making sure we throw on the correct timing, and this Grass Knot will be grabbing a shield from the opponent. Apologies if you do hear the plane going over my head. Unfortunately, I live right next to an RAF base, so that does happen quite often, and I can't stop recording every single time it does, so just live with it. But here they go for a Mud Bomb. We go for the extra move, but we're at 100 energy, so that's definitely unnecessary here. But we grab the shield, and now we can go for a second Grass Knot to just guarantee we get rid of the Quagsire. And they've got a Ferrothorn in the back, and this is absolutely awful. We do actually lose the CMP tie here. We just have to let it go down, unfortunately. Power Whip does take out the Cradily. And now we come in with the Kabutops, throwing on the CMP tie once again. So I do like this play, probably just looking to fully sacrifice the Kabutops and hope that somehow Omastar will be able to take out the Ferrothorn. Power Whip takes out the Kabutops, and let's see, is there any way we can take this game here? We're going to go for the extra Mud Shot here, and the opponent swaps into a Swampert. We're going to full send the Hydro Pump. Does this KO from full health? It barely doesn't take them out there, and they make it to a last second Hydro Cannon. Unfortunately, actually no, it's a Surf, but it still takes us out with the Bullet Seed, and we do unfortunately lose that game. So Ferrothorn, very difficult to beat with this team. But into the next game, we see a Tentacruel in the lead. Gonna say swap into our Omastar, go for the Ancient Power straight away, and Ancient Power does some decent damage here. The Mud Shots are super effective. We're going to use a shield, and it is the Scald, so that would do quite a decent amount of damage. They now come in with a Lantern. This is absolutely awful, but they don't farm to the Thunderbolt. They go straight for a Surf. Might be worse for us actually, because we make it to the back-to-back Ancient Powers, but they will be able to fully Spark farm us down from this range. But we're going to fire off the second Ancient Power, and this Ancient Power is going to get the Lantern into the red health. We also get an unnecessary boost, which is really unfortunate, but we've had quite a few really good boosts so far in this video already, so I guess we can't complain too much. We're probably going to go for a full Bullet Seed farm down here. The opponent threw a Thunderbolt the first time round. They do wise up and go for the Surf the second time around. We're now going to go for a Rock Side into the Tentacruel, coming back in. We grab the shield from the opponent. We make it to another Rock Side. Weren't really sure if we wanted to throw or swap, but we're probably going to do both of them here as we swap into the Kabutops, and we are going to let the Scald go through. That does quite a lot of damage, but we get the Mud Shot farm down, and let's see what the opponent comes in with. They are going to come in with a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, so we're going to go for the Ancient Power here, and Ancient Power will be hitting for neutral damage, grabbing a shield, and we make it to another Ancient Power. Possibly could have gone for the Water Pulse, but we get another unnecessary boost, which is so unfortunate, because if we got the boost the first time around, maybe we could have taken them out, but probably unlikely there, and they are able to make it to the second Ice Punch, which will be enough damage to take out the Cradily, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next battle, we see Cradily into Tentacruel. So we're going to save swap into our Omastar. The opponent's staying in initially. We go for the Ancient Power straight away, and Ancient Power doesn't get a boost, unfortunately. But we are going to see us no shield this Acid Spray bait, which is really good for us, as that would have been awful to shield. We now go for a second Ancient Power, and Ancient Power goes unshielded once again. We get the boost this time around, and we are now going to shield up. Probably going to be another Acid Spray, and it is, unfortunately. They come in with Ludicolo, but luckily they are running Bubble, otherwise Razor Leaf would have absolutely destroyed us. But we go for the Ancient Power there, and we do make it to one final Ancient Power before we go down. And Ancient Power Power grabs the second shield from the opponent, so that's massive. The opponent then swaps into a Water Gun Vaporeon. We're going to let the Aqua Tail go through here, and we're going to go for an Ancient Power. I don't think we're going to make it to a second Ancient Power, which is really unfortunate, but I guess it doesn't really matter as we have the Cradily in the back anyway. So we're going to come in with the Cradily, going to let the first move go through. This will just be another Aqua Tail, which doesn't really do much damage. We're going to over farm in this matchup here, probably farm to nearly 100 energy, making sure we've got a charge move to throw into the Ludicolo coming back in. But no, we're actually going to go for a full Bullet Seed farm down. Great play here, because now we can go for the Rock Slide and then go for one Grass Knot, and this should be enough damage overall to take out the Ludicolo here. So we go for the Grass Knot, and Grass Knot barely doesn't take them out there, but they are at a charge move. We can safely shield this up. Bullet Seed goes through, they go for a Leaf Storm, we take out the Ludicolo, and we take that game. Into the next game, we see Steelix in the lead, and they're actually running Thunder Fang, so this is a lot better for our grass type here, as we're taking resisted damage, whereas if we swap into our one of our water types, we're actually going to take a lot more damage than we can dish out. So we are going to stay in this matchup. They go for a Crunch before swapping into a Shadow Skarmory, so we're going to go for the Rock Slide and then probably swap into one of the Pokemon in the back, and that's exactly what we do. So we swap into the Omastar, we make it to the Ancient Power, throw it on the CMP tie, I believe it was, and Ancient Power doesn't quite take them out. We are going to let this move go through. Everything should be resisted, but no, it's a Flash Cannon, which is neutral damage, and it one-shots the Omastar. So we lose switch advantage, which is unfortunate, but let's see what the opponent wants to do. They're waiting out the switch clock before coming in with a Poliwrath, and unfortunately they wall everything we can throw here, but we're going to go for the Ancient Power anyways, hoping for a boost. We actually grab the shield, which is massive. We make it to another Ancient Power, and I believe this is a CMP tie, and Ancient Power does go unshielded this time around, but we're just going to let the Kabutops go down. We know it doesn't really have a lot of play up against this team, so we come in with the Cradily, and we are taking minimal damage from the Mud Shots here, so we might try to overfarm as much as possible here. Going to go for one more Bullet Seed, go for the Grass Knot, and this will be taking out the Poliwrath. And now can we make it to two more charge moves up against the Steelix here? We're going to overfarm massively. The opponent throws on alignment, so we get the Bullet Seed through. We're going to shield this up, go for a Grass Knot straight away here, and this should be grabbing the final shield from the opponent, and then one more Grass Knot. Is it going to be enough damage from this range to take out the Steelix? Yes, it is, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, and we've got the Dinosaur team this time around leading with the Tyrunt into Galarian Stunfisk. Now this is absolutely awful, but the opponent only goes to a Rock Slide, so we can let that go through. We're now going to go for a Dragon Claw, and the opponent actually uses a shield there, so they clearly have no clue what moveset we're running. And I don't know why we're shielding this. This is not a very good play whatsoever, as we can't hit for anything other than resisted damage, but we go for a second Dragon Claw, and we grab the final shield. So I guess against opponents at this sort of elo range, they have no idea what they're doing. No offense to them, but they actually undercharge that, so that's a smart play. But we make it to another Dragon Claw, and we get them fairly low, but honestly I would have just come in with the Aurorus here and let the Tyrunt go down, but we're now going to let the Rock Slide go through, knowing it's not an Earthquake, and we can now overfarm and go for the Weather Ball here on the CMP tie with the Rock Slide. So very nice play, and taking out the Stunfisk as well, and let's see what we can do. The opponent comes in with a Charm Primarina. We barely make it to the Meteor Beam, and this is going to do a ton of damage. It nearly one-shots them, and we live the charm. We get the Powder Snow farm down, and they've got a Ludicolo in the back. So Bastiodon should be able to win this game here, as we do still have a shield remaining. We make it to the Stone Edge, and this will nearly be enough damage to take them out, and just a few more smackdowns will be enough damage here. We're going to use a shield, could be a Leaf Storm, but either way it wouldn't take us out. We get the smackdown farm down, and we're able to take that game. Into the next game, another awful lead into Galarian Stunfisk. I wonder if we're just going to fully sacrifice the Tyrunt this time around. We go for a Dragon Claw here, throwing on the CMP tie with this opponent, and we grab the shield again, so opponents just have no idea what moves we can run. Excuse me there. They full send the Earthquake there, and it does take us out. And now I do like this play. Having a shield advantage in this matchup is a lot better. We're going to go for the Weather Ball. Weather Ball doesn't do too much damage, but with the Powder Snow damage, we should just about be able to take them out as we reach the next Weather Ball. So we're going to overfarm here, throwing as late as possible here. Gonna go for that Weather Ball, and Weather Ball from this range grabs the final shield from the Stunfisk. They do just barely outpace us to another Earthquake, so we're going to use a shield, and I wonder if this is a single move Stunfisk. I guess we're not going to find out as they swap into Tentacruel. We go for the Meteor Beam, that does huge damage, and we're going to swap, bank the Weather Ball on the Aurorus. I do like that play, and even though actually, no, it's just an acid spray, so that works out really well for the Bastiodon, as that is triple resisted by the steel and rock typing. They come back in with Stunfisk. We go for the Flamethrower straight away, just want to get rid of it, and Flamethrower takes out the Stunfisk, and they've got a Lantern in the back. Now, this is not ideal. We have been acid sprayed, so this Surf is going to do a ton of damage to the Bastiodon, but they're running Hydro Pump, which takes out the Bastiodon, and actually, I think we might be losing this game now as we go for the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam does big damage, but not quite enough damage, and now they make it to a potential Thunderbolt or Surf. Thunderbolt takes out the Aurorus, and we do unfortunately lose that game. But into the next battle, we see Kingdra in the lead, so we should be able to win this matchup in the lead as we do outpace them to the Dragonclaw, and this will definitely force a shield from the opponent. And Dragonclaw does grab that first shield. They are not quite going to be able to farm us down here, so they have to throw. I think we just let this move go through. Octazooka takes us out, but we can come in and farm down with either Pokemon. I think Aurorus will be better as energy is a lot more valuable on the Aurorus, but the opponent comes in with Empoleon. This is really bad to see, but we do make it to the Meteor Beam, and even though it's resisted, that does over half the Empoleon's health. We're going to stay in, hoping to force a shield here up against the Empoleon. Honestly, I think we prefer to get the damage registered, but they do fully waterfall farm us down, and our only hope is that we can somehow smack down, farm them all the way down. The opponent goes for a Drill Peck. I'm not sure why. That is double resisted, but perhaps they're not running Hydro Cannon. They go for a second Drill Peck. We shield it up again. Hopefully we get the smackdown farm down, and it looks like we will, so they swap into the Steelix here to catch the move, but Flamethrower is super effective. We need to land 2 more Flamethrowers to take out the Steelix here. But they're just going to go for a Psychic Fang, so perhaps they're only running Psychic Fangs. I have no clue, but if they're running Earthquake, they should definitely be going for it. Even Crunch would be a lot better to throw, so we're about to find out, is this a Psychic Fangs or is it a Crunch? It is just a Psychic Fangs, which we do resist, and now we are just about able to make it to the Flamethrower here. They get off another Psychic Fangs. We go for Flamethrower, but the opponent catches it onto Empoleon. So very nice catch there on the 1 HP Empoleon, but we should just about be able to smack down, farm down the Steelix, and take that game. And into the final battle, we lead into Steelix. They are running Thunderfang once again, so unfortunately we should have probably stayed in that matchup as we do resist it, whereas if they were running Dragon Tail, of course, that's an awful matchup, but we can safely let this move go through. Just going to be another Psychic Fangs from the Steelix, so we do let it go through, and we will be able to make it to another Weather Ball, and this will get the Steelix fairly low already if they let it go through, which they do, and we do get them into the red health before they swap into Blastoise, but we just about make it to the Meteor Beam, which is massive because Meteor Beam grabs a shield from the opponent. We now come in with our Tyrunt here as we do take neutral damage from these water guns. We're going to shield up. It is the Ice Beam, which probably does take us out or get us very close to taking us out there, but we're now going to go for the back-to-back Dragon Claws. The first one grabs the shield. We make it to the second one, looking like a CMP tie with the Blastoise, and Dragon Claw takes out the Blastoise. They come in with a Toxapex, so we're going to stay in this matchup initially, go for an Ancient Power, and this is going to do a little bit more damage than the Dragon Claw. Obviously has the chance to boost as well. We don't get the boost, but the opponent goes for a very aggressive farm down, allowing us to make it to another Dragon Claw, taking out the Toxapex, and now all we have to do is make it to a Flamethrower before they make it to 2 charge moves here. We're going to shield this up just in case it is the Earthquake, but it's just another Psychic Fangs, but they throw straight away, so this is very unlikely to be the Earthquake, and it's just another Psychic Fang, so we easily make it to the Flamethrower, and Flamethrower will be taking out the Steelix, and we take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. Obviously some slightly lower elo battles, but I enjoyed the battles anyways, and if you did enjoy the battles as well, make sure you leave a like on the video, leave a comment letting me know, and as well don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.